Hello Westmont faculty. This video serves as a sort of basics guide to setting up a meeting in Zoom. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Let's go to your browser of choice. And I've got Safari here. You're going to go to westmont.zoom.us and go ahead and hit enter. And you're going to select this last option here, sign in. And when you do that, you should recognize this page. You can use your Westmont credentials here just to sign in. And once we've done that, we are here in the Zoom profile. So you're going to be using meetings and settings, probably most likely. So let's jump into meetings. Uh, in here, you can see all of the meetings that you sort of have created. As you can see, I've been testing this out a little bit, but let's schedule a new meeting. Okay, we're going to click that button and start filling this out. So this topic field here, this is what the meeting is going to be called. Um, since your students are going to be receiving a lot of these Zoom invitations, it would be good if you can specify at least the course number, but preferably, include, your name, the professor's name, and the time that it meets, just so that they know exactly, what meeting they're joining. Just that clarification is going to help. We'll leave this as my meeting for now. You can include an optional description, any other details that might help your students understand what class they're joining, what's going to be covered, things like that. You can add that into the description, but that's not necessary. Next, we need to schedule it. And so we can click this calendar button, and you can specify the day that the meeting is going to start. So let's just select Monday. And the time as well. This is going to be an important thing. Know that you can type in the exact time. So if it's a 3:15, you can type in 3:15. The presets don't include anything else but on the hour. This duration, I have a Zoom basic profile, which limits the amount of time that I can have a meeting on, but you can have this meeting be as long as you want. So just select the duration. If that's the normal amount of time that your class normally takes, that's great. If you've worked out something different, just specify that duration here. And time zone is important. Make sure that they're joining the right time zone and that it's scheduled correctly there. Now, in order to not have to go through this every time you have a meeting, you can select this recurring meeting button. And when you do that, you can specify what days this meeting happens. So if you've got a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you can select weekly here. And if the meeting occurs on each day of, so if it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it happens every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday. You're going to select one here. That means that it's happening once per week. If your class meets every 2 weeks, then you can select two and so on. So we're going to select Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And currently we're going until April 13th. So we're going to select that there. And so that's the scheduling piece. This meeting password, this isn't necessary, but if you're wanting to make sure that your students are, paying attention to Canvas and things, your communication with them, you could ask for a password to make sure that they get in. But I think in most cases, this would be an extra unnecessary step that might cause students to miss class. So I would leave this turned off for now. You can specify the video settings here. You are the host as the professor, so you can choose whether you'd like your video cam to be on or off. And same with your participants. If you like to be able to see their faces, then that, you can choose on here, but if you don't think that's necessary, click off. Audio, this is, can a student or you host or join a meeting from a computer or a telephone or both? You could theoretically do this from a cell phone, but I'd sort of expect that both audio and video quality is going to be a little bit better if you use a computer. But not necessarily every student will have access to a computer, so I would include both here. Now, meeting options. This here, enable join before host. I'd recommend you turn this on. This is in the case that a student arrives early and would like to just, join the meeting so that they're there when class starts. This is also helpful for if you, the professor, are running late. You don't want to have your students need to wait for you to be there in order to join the meeting. Otherwise, if you are running late, they might just say, "Oh, she's, he or she's not here. Time to, we don't need to come to class." That type of thing. So I would include this selection here. Muting participants on entry. This I think I'd also recommend. Um, when your students join, you don't necessarily want them making a lot of noise, especially if they've joined late. You want to be, as little disruption as possible there. So I'd click that as well. Enable waiting room. This waiting room allows sort of like enable join before host, except they're not part of the meeting, they're part of a waiting room. And you could take role in the waiting room and then have everybody join the meeting if you like. Or you can just leave this blank and have them join the meeting straight. And then the last two things here, authenticated users can join. Your students will be signing in to Zoom. So you could check this box just to make sure that, the students that are part of Westmont and part of your course can get in. This would be good to check. And then record the meeting automatically on the local computer. That just says, if you've just finished your meeting and you want to review and just see what, if you didn't know whether you covered a certain topic or something, you can have it record and save that meeting to your computer. Now note that that does take up disk space, so make sure that you've got enough disk space in order to do that. And so we're ready. Let's press save. We now have our meeting, my meeting, and it shows what time it starts and when it happens, as well as all the other settings. The one really important thing on this page is the join URL. Okay, so this, you're going to want to make sure that this is very available to your students. You want to make sure that they're able to join it pretty easily. And so I'd post this information either by emailing them or placing it on Canvas or somewhere that your students know that it's going to be accessible. You can copy the invitation here and paste it into an email if you like. So that's sort of the basics on scheduling a meeting and creating a meeting. If you have any questions about Zoom or how to set up a meeting properly, if there's anything that wasn't covered in this little tutorial, just send an email to support@westmont.edu. Thank you all very much.